Yo, what's good guys, VENM here back from the video, and today we're going to be talking about some of the problems that I think Madden 23 has, and this is going to contradict a lot of things I said in my last video, unironically, but we're going to go into it and just talk about some of the things that I've discovered. A lot has changed since that first video. I played a lot of different games, had a lot of different experiences, and I have to say that I am very nervous for the state of the game. It is not looking too good. Just starting out, the pass rush is too overpowered. You guys can say whatever you want. First of all, I'm only going to take opinions in the comments from those who have actually played the game. If you have not played the game, you should really not disagree with anything that I'm saying about the pass rush being overpowered, because it is extremely overpowered. A lot of you guys in the comments of that first video, I mentioned that pass rush was my biggest issue, and that is still true, but a lot of you guys in the comments said, oh, I'm so glad that pass rush is good this year. It's so realistic. It's not realistic for you to have 5 seconds to throw the ball. Things around that nature. And part of those things is true, but guess what? We're not playing NFL football. We're playing a video game, and you have to understand that. And with playing a video game, you want to be able to enjoy the video game and not be getting screamed at. I understand if you're a franchise player, you would enjoy that, but for any kind of level of competitive player that likes to play online, you would understand that this is a big issue. And I'm sure the people in the comments who have actually played the beta can definitely reinforce the idea that pass rush this year is very bad. It's not a good thing, and it is super overpowered. It's definitely going to break the game. Now, why is the pass rush so good, and why is it a bad thing? The first thing being the pass rush is very good. It comes from all different angles. The ability of not being able to scramble out of the pocket with any kind of a quarterback unless his name is Lamar Jackson. Even Kyler Murray, I struggle to scramble out of the pocket with. Guys like Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, you cannot even get out of the pocket with them. So that's your first issue. The second issue is that, again, it can also come from the interior. So if you're trying to use pocket presence, which I generally do use pocket presence pretty well, that's one of my best things. I have good pocket. It doesn't really get rewarded in this game. You step up in the pocket, you're getting shedded. You will see tons of animations are very common this year, especially those that where the defensive tackle will split in a double team, usually from the center and another guard, whether the left guard or the right guard. You will see a lot of those animations happen. So those happen very consistently, and that is a big issue, because even if you have a mobile quarterback, even if you have good pocket, it's not rewarded in this game. Also, the pushback is insane. Even if it's a 70 overall D tackle with 50 power rushing, even if he has like 90 strength, he will push all of your offensive linemen back. It seems like good defensive linemen make a huge difference, but if you have a good offensive lineman, it makes no difference at all. So again, you can't really push anyone back, especially when your offensive linemen are getting pushed back in the pocket. That means that if you want any chance of throwing any pass over 5 yards, you have to back up 10 plus yards. That makes the throw that much more difficult. And with the improved zones, which again, I think the zones are a good thing that they're improved. With the improved zones, if you drop back 10 yards in the pocket, you are not going to complete any pass that is not 10 yards open. So basically, it's going to be impossible to pass the ball without kind of dinking and dunking. And that's going to take us to our next issue, which is going to kind of tie into the coverage. The first issue with the coverage, and again, these aren't necessarily issues, but these are problems that you will see arise due to the fact that the pass rush is so good. And that's going to be just a simple 4-man rush. You're able to cover a ton of stuff. Because the 4-man rush is so good, you don't have to play that far over the top, because things like a crossing route will never be able to develop ever. Things like a deep corner out will be defended by an outside third, which is your deep blues. They'll be defended by outside thirds, outside quarters, so you won't see things like that be an issue. So because that is so good, what the defense can do is they can send their normal 4-man rush. They can go ahead and play underneath, whether that's a 5-yard or a 10-yard zone drop. They can do that. And then they can also have extra players to man up in coverage, whether it be an extra safety, an extra linebacker. They can man up a running back. They can man up a slot wide receiver to prevent anything like a quick seam streak, quick little hitch. And also, as long as they press, you're not burning them off the press ever unless you have someone like Tyreek Hill. No wide receiver will ever burn a press this year unless his name is Tyreek Hill that I've seen, and I played with most of the teams already. And then also, let's say, all right, we're facing that 5-yard zone drops, whatever. I try to throw a quick little out route to the slot receiver. The curl flats go out super far to defend this year, so that's not too possible. And then what you have is pretty much how the fact that the outside thirds can defend running back out routes super good this year. They can defend things like running back streaks. And outside deep blues, you see actually jump inside routes. So if I threw like a seam streak out of trips tight end against a basic nickel cover 3, let's say he's baseline press, which means the outside corner is going to be matched up with the outside receiver. And then you will see that inside corner, let's say they're in cover 3, the inside corner, slot corner is going to be in a flat zone, so he's not going to defend a seam streak. If I snap throw the wide receiver streak, what you see is the outside third actually able to make a play on it. And it's the same thing. If I do that with a running back, again, running back out route, it's defended. Running back wheels, the outside third just plays super crazy. And it is just overall super difficult on the offensive player. So that's a big problem. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is going to be man coverage. Man coverage, super difficult to beat. Again, what do you need for man coverage? You need time to beat it, especially if it's a press man and you can't throw like a deep streak or a deep post to beat it. So a lot of the man beating routes this year just do not beat man. And again, these are just using normal players because, again, we don't have 3 Devontae Adams on our team. We don't have 3 Tyreek Hills, and you won't have those in Ultimate Team either. So just using regular guys. Now, these guys aren't terrible. These are guys like CeeDee Lamb, who are one of the better wide receivers in the NFL, and they can't beat man coverage by a regular 80 overall corner who's decent by all means, but he is not exactly a Jalen Ramsey in coverage. Some of the man beating routes that you use are going to be curl routes. That does not work unless you have Gunslinger, but you cannot pass lead this year with regular pass lead, and I still am learning how to use that other mechanic. It works better, but I just have no idea how it works. There's no practice mode, so it's difficult to lab these things. But curl routes, they don't beat man coverage. Moving on, again, we already talked about how a pressed fade route will not get any separation. Our next route that we're going to talk about is going to be a deep post. Specifically those from the outside receiver, things like Pat's Y in, bunch trail. You have that solo receiver on a deep post. Again, even the best wide receivers will not get separation. So those do not beat man coverage. Things like crossing routes do not even really get any separation at all. So really what you have with your separation is going to be things like post routes can get separation. Slants, again, maybe a little, but you also need time for the slant to go across the field generally to throw it because he does have a user and he is going to be defending things as well in man coverage. And again, man blitz is very good, so you will see guys run man blitz. That's super annoying because even if you sometimes max protect in this game, I block 7, he rushes either 6 or 7, he's going to get very quick pressure and he might even get instant pressure. So that's an issue. And then let's say he goes with a man coverage variation where he is rushing 4 people. That's going to allow him to take away any kind of a possible man beater because, again, really the only man beaters that work are going to be like quick out routes with your running back. Those can work. Again, drags, they can get minimal separation. Little tight end out routes, little wide receiver out routes, zigs. So what do? They throw 2 curl flats at 5 yards. And then they say, my pressure is going to beat you before any kind of a deep route can get open, like again, post route with your tight end, maybe a little crossing route potentially, even though I don't think they work. Corner routes, again, they're iffy. They can. Again, it just depends on the animation. So it's a dice roll. A lot of the times it's a dice roll at the end of the day. And it's just not very fun to play when you're playing man coverage. It takes any kind of thought out of the game, especially... You can tell that your opponent's just not thinking at all. He's just calling man coverage, and you just can't do anything to beat it because the game doesn't really give you a chance. And then you try and run the ball. They can run man coverage out of any defensive set, really, so they can go into like a 3-3-5 wide and be able to defend the run really well. And then again, all they would need is one good defensive lineman, and he can shed every play on the runs. It's difficult to run inside zone out of like a trips tight end against just a regular nickel normal and any kind of a nickel formation. You will see those linebackers, they never get picked up, so you literally can't run inside zone out of that. Base is going to be your best bet. I would run any offense with base, and it's a good thing that a lot of offenses do have base, because base is going to be probably my most called play. I run base out a bunch when I try out trips. Make sure you're running Patriots. You can run 45 click base. U-trips, you have a base in there, a power, same thing. So really on offense, it's going to be a lot of shotgun running, because even if you are running the ball, you're going to have to pass at some point. And if you're passing, you can't pass under center, obviously, because of how good the pass rush is. So you have to cook up something out of shotgun. So again, what you're going to see a lot of times is run the ball twice or 3 times and then try and get into a 4th and short and make something happen quickly. Save up your money plays. Again, you will have plays that will work, but you can't keep running the same play, or a good player's going to adjust. But overall, that's just my thoughts on the biggest problem. Let me know again what you think, more so from those that have played the beta, because again, if you have not played the beta, then, and I can tell who hasn't based on the comments that I get, because those saying that the pass rush is a good thing for the game have not played it at all. So that's just immediately my thoughts. But let me know again, those that played the beta, what you think. And again, obviously, we still have time for it to be fixed. So again, we can't necessarily count them out yet, but this is a big problem, and I don't see it really being fixed that much. Even if it is tuned down, it's still going to be not the best, ideally. So we'll see. But that's new for me. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel down below. Drop a big thumbs up if you want more Madden 23 content. Let me know what you want to see involving the game. If you want to see more of these videos where I'm talking some of the problems that you think some of the fixable things. But that's new for me, and peace. I'm out of here.